Much like timeless Toni Storm did when she encountered Mercedes Monet's crutch, we are going all in on our BunkaMania review on AEW All In 2025. I am your host, the internet's own MattyBoo, and joining me as usual would be the take two. This is live, pal. Joining me, as per usual, is the irreplaceable Harriett Manga Girl. But also, we have a guest. We have a special guest who's never really done one of these before. We have the boss of BunkaMania himself, the Dekker Dane. How are we doing, everybody?
We're doing good, but first we need to actually get people in the right positions on the screen.
I don't know what happened.
Matty, go to the host screen. There we go. Matty's on the host side. I need to move over to the Matty position. And Harriet's in the middle. There we go. All good. There we go. Set up.
We had a flow, and it got disrupted by the start of the stream, and it threw me off. I
looked. I was like,
why is he in the centre of this show again?
Well, like I said, I mean,
normally.
Well, yeah, much like timeless Toni Storm, you just got to sink your teeth into it sometimes. That is the same variation of the joke I've just opened with, and I don't care. Hi, everybody. Now, this is a little bit weird. There is no Giraffe and me. We miss him dearly. Like, the Dekker Dane has jumped in pretty much. Have you done an AEW review before BunkaMania?
Before you and Harriet joined the team, me and Jeremy did cover a lot of AEW stuff. So I think back then, when there wasn't so many wrestling shows to cover in a week, we were able to kind of do the balance of doing WWE and AEW stuff. Yeah. But I think since more content has come out from both sides, and obviously there's just so much that we just can't really watch. That's why it's kind of Jeremy and Matty have become the team on the AEW side, and myself and Harriet become the team on the WWE side of things, because it's easier to kind of divert or kind of divvy out the wrestling. The fact is, I still keep an eye on what's going on AEW. I don't watch it religiously. It's like, I think I watch it more on a kind of like occasional stance sometimes. So it's like, for example, I've been to all the previous All-Ins in Wembley. I've been to those. And I've always kept myself up to date with the show as we go into those events. So obviously, the same here with the one in Texas. Keep myself up to date with what's going on as well. So it's like I know a good chunk of the story. I might not know the subtle things that have been going on, but in terms of the general, this is a thing that's happening, I'm well aware of that sort of stuff. So yes, I think this is my first AEW review since possibly. Did I do last year's All In?
I think you might have.
I think you did. I think there was the four of us reviewed it, I think.
Oh, okay. Yes, because I think at that stage I obviously lost a bit of my voice again. Must have been shouting about the final countdown in Wembley, all that sort of stuff. And yes. But yes, I think this is my first AEW in quite a while.
Yeah, a match that when it recently got uploaded onto YouTube, and now we know why. Somebody made a cameo appearance in this show. They made sure not to even have entrances for it, so we were denied the final countdown on YouTube because it costs a lot of money. Ooh. I think amongst all this, because you've picked a hell of a show to review today, the Dekker Dane, because we watched this show together, and I think we can all mutually agree that by freaking God, this was a long show. If you throw in the freaking 2 hours, because it's not an hour if there's 2 of them, that this was about a solid 8 hours of wrestling content. That's insane. What do you guys think?
Well, according to I think Wrestle Talk's review today, it is also the longest North American wrestling pay-per-view, surpassing WrestleMania 35.
Hooray!
It's 3 minutes short of a 6-hour mark on the main show card. Yeah, I mean, it's the curse of being too used to the WWE format of it's about either 3 or about 2 to 2.5 to 3 or 3 to 4 hours, depending on the big show length of time. And here it's like, I would. It's like I still think it was a very good show overall. I think the strongest thing I can say about AEW is the in-ring product is amazing, and there is rarely, from the times I've tuned in to watch it, there's rarely been in-ring product that doesn't work or just the styles don't mesh or something like that. It's like it always seems to be that the roster always bring that A game, especially big events like All In. So I will not fault the quality of the matches. I think there are some matches on this card that you do have to question why they were that sort of length or why are they on the card. But then again, I feel that I understand it's their WrestleMania now. It feels like it's their WrestleMania. They treat it like WrestleMania. I mean, last night the stadium itself looked like it was a big WrestleMania moment.
It absolutely was. Now, so with that reason in mind, we are apologies in advance. We are not going to be doing a blow to blow account of the whole show, because if we do that, we might as well be a pay-per-view in ourselves for the length it will take. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be like, instead of going through every single match, we're basically going to be doing topics of conversation. Mm-hmm. We will have some reviews of some matches because I think they deserve the attention and the spotlight they're going to get. Because this is a show that I'm hosting, I will get Harriett and Ian each to individually spotlight a match, and we're going to talk at great detail about those, but we are not going to be doing it with every single show on the card, because as epic as it is, I don't think we're going to be talking about Big Boom AJ and Big Justice somewhat. As epic as that is.
He brought the boom. He brought the boom. The Rizzler was going, yeah, and Big Justice did a spear. What's not like to care about there? I don't know.
Big Justice, I'll tell you, is massive. The top rope powerbomb. Anyway.
Big Justice. Big Justice. I am still sweltering this.
But we will
worry
also...
about this.
Sorry, I derailed that.
But we're going to be, instead of starting with the main event, we're actually going to be finishing with the main event. We'll actually save Moxley and Hangman till last, because I think as far as storyline enders are concerned, that was definitely deserving in its place as the de facto main event. So with that being said, I'm going to turn to our special guest, the Dekker Dane, and say to thee, good sir, oh yes, right there, it's so easy. I could just point in one direction this time.
I'm looking in the wrong direction. That way. Oh, yes.
We have, sir, 12 matches to get through here. Out of those 12 matches, take that down to 11, because we're not going to talk about the main event yet. Select a match. Which out of that was your favourite overall?
I think in terms of entertainment value as well as like quality of in work, I think we have to talk about Swerve and Ospreay versus the Young Bucks first.
Can we not talk about the 10 billion year long entrance that the goddamn... He did this because he knew I was going to launch into a rant. The goddamn stupidly long entrance that the Young Bucks literally sailed across on their stupid, silly boat that I was so bored by, I ended up singing the English One Piece song during the course of it.
I did wonder what you were on about when you were just shouting lyrics of something. It's like, are you okay, Matty? Is this your equivalent of the yin and yang?
Compass left behind, it'll only slow us down.
Oh, no.
Our heart will be our guide. Raise them up and raise the sails to a very special place in the heart of the map revealed. It's more than legendary till something proves it real. Anyway, Dane, let's talk about this match.
Yes, let's. Obviously, it was a big centerpiece match. I mean, the pay-per-view had its like 3 main events, which is kind of a weird thing to kind of go, we've got 3 main events. It's like, really? I mean, you've got one at the end of the show. That's really the main event, but obviously because of the storyline implications and obviously the quality of the match there. But yeah, this one obviously was a bit of a bigger one as well in terms of stakes, because obviously you had Young Bucks putting their EVP status on the line. You also had Swerve and Ospreay putting down the gauntlet of saying, hey, if we lose, we can't challenge for this world title for about a year. Cody should have thought about that when he did that stipulation against Jericho.
I'm just looking at Mothfox 23 who says the Young Bucks wish they came across from Plymouth. I mean, it felt like it took that long, Mothfox. But yeah, I mean, gripes about the entrance notwithstanding. By the way, Will Ospreay had a hell of an entrance with his homage to Assassin's Creed, which basically, yeah, you could see they spent some money showcasing like all of the assassins over the years in that franchise, and also the actual stunt people that are in the ramp as well. But I also reckon that special mention has to be made for the fact that JoJo Offerman, the widow of Bray Wyatt, sung Ain't Nobody, which at the time I had no idea why that was there. But now we've since found out that Ain't Nobody was the entrance music for Swerve Strickland when he was in the independent circuit before he got signed to WWE. So it had some special regard there, but it was lovely to see JoJo there. And by God, she's got a good set of pipes on her. The match itself, I really, really liked. I think it was one of the better tag matches we had throughout the entire show, because you got to say, whether you like them or you hate them, the Young Bucks get tag team wrestling. And they were up against two guys who individually you can regard as like two of the like best out there in the individual singles division. But they have to literally pull together to literally take on the Young Bucks. And the stakes, again, could never be higher because, of course, their chances of getting a title shot would have been shot down for over a year had they lost this match. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't just a match that was there for the sake of, like, just being a match. There was literal reasons which then fed into storylines later on in the show, as it were. And, of course, the Young Bucks ended up losing. There's been some rumors and speculations going on. I'm not really going to say whether those are real or not. I'm just protecting my Lorcana cards that are threatening to jump off my shelf. That's why I keep grabbing onto something every now and then. But there's been some rumor going about that the Young Bucks are hoping to purchase Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG, which is basically where their origin stories lied. Used to be run by Super Dragon and Excalibur. And with that being said, they could be pretty much on the off-skis soon. Also... that's also it's gonna be interesting what we're gonna do with Swerve and Ospreay from here, because what's gonna happen? Are they gonna stay like your guardian angels going forward? Are we finally going to be seeing an era where we're actually gonna have good guy authority figures again? We don't know. It's very, very interesting. Or say on Dynamite, the mission statement was done. They've managed to strip the Young Bucks out of their positions. They're now relinquishing them themselves. We don't know. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what goes on there. The quality of the match between the Young Bucks and Swerve and Ospreay, there were so many like interconnecting moves I can't even list off. But again, it was just a feast for the eyes. Harriett, what do you got to say about it?
I'm trying to think. You said a lot, and I'm like, how can I interject? I really did like the storytelling of this, because the fact that neither of them got along until like pretty much the end of this match. But there was one point in particular I really liked, was the fact that when I think it was Ospreay who was tied to the ropes, and then the Young Bucks were doing super kicks against him, and then Swerve stood up and took some of the kicks in reverse as to what happened prior, when I think the Young Bucks were going to hit Swerve with studded shoes in revenge of prior PPV. This goes on a bit, but for the fact that he stood up for him. Plus, there was so many good, like you said, interconnecting moves, like when they were all kicking each other, or just like when they did their finishes on each other. It was a good match, but yeah, it's just like, actually, funny enough, Sean has said here, like, going forward, tag team champs. I don't see it at the moment. I think the Hurt Business have enough to do at the moment. But
we will segue into that in a mo, actually, because I think I want to bring in a lot of the multi-man tags
yeah,
in a moment while we as a discussion point. But yeah, carry on.
yeah. So in all, I did enjoy it. I did see Young Bucks losing at this point, because it was kind of, there seemed to be a night of all good guys, mostly good guys win, and then it seemed to resolve a lot of storylines, which was what was needed, because that's what the WrestleMania story of that's, like, of All In, it does that. It kind of resets or does a lot of things for that. So in all, it was a good match. I enjoyed it and very fun. I do like seeing I did like the dynamic of Swerve and Ospreay working together, and I'm just looking forward to seeing more of it.
I think at one point when we're talking about moves, when we first bit on one of the multiple finishes that happened during this match, I went, well, one thing we haven't seen at the moment, we haven't seen any kind of a modified, I've forgotten what the house call.
Yes.
Swerve's finishing move. We hadn't seen that utilized in the match at all. And I kept saying near the end of the match, I said, but we haven't seen that yet. And I've got a feeling at some point that's going to be your ultimate trump card, is when Swerve finally does that house call. And sure enough, that is the move that finished the match. And yeah, there's not really much more I can say about that. I genuinely loved this tag match. I wish I could say the same I'm going to bring up a fair bit of this, actually. Let's talk about the Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin against Jet Speed and the Patriarchy. I liked this match. This match went on way too long, which is bizarre when you go over to the other match, and I've lost the time code for it. Like, Swerve and Ospreay versus Young Bucks went on a good 6-7 minutes longer. And yet, the Hurt Syndicate match felt like it went on for 10 billion years.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we're really going to remember about that match is what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
And I think that's more about a favourite moment rather than in the match itself. Do you guys want to go into that right now? Or do you want to put it aside as another topic of conversation later?
I mean, in terms of this particular match, I think because this had followed after, I think, one or two of like the high profile kind of like mainstay matches, I think I did flag a little at this one, to be honest. But then there was some nice moves. There was Shelton Benjamin just yeeting someone out in a German suplex to everyone outside the ring, which is like, that's nice to see from Shelton. But yeah, it's just like it felt like Hurt Business were going to retain, because there was it didn't feel, from looking in from just glancing at like highlight clips, there didn't seem to be much about Jet Speed that made it look like they were going to win. And the Patriarchy, we have that thing we have the tension between Wayne and Christian. So it's kind of like, it was like two things could have happened. Hurt Business retain, or the Patriarchy somehow win, or something like that. But then it was basically Hurt Syndicate that won. Also, side note, and we talked about it when we were watching it live. What was it? Jet Speed were kind of dressed up as Speed Racer. Speed Racer colours.
I was going to bring that up. I pointed it out because this reminds me of something. And then I looked up the old cartoon and went, yeah, Speed Racer. And then we had a lovely conversation about the live action movie, which is not rubbish. It's actually a fun film.
It's good. I think I have it on Blu-ray on my shelf behind me.
One of the first Blu-rays I ever bought. I got given The Dark Knight Rises with my first Blu-ray player, and then the first Blu-ray I physically bought was Speed Racer, and it was so gorgeous in HD back then. But I digress. I got to say, great kit on Speedball, Mike Bailey. And I'm going to keep saying it that way forevermore now. And Kevin Knight. I think Jet Speed have the potential to be a really good tag team. I think they're not really going to use them as singles guys, which is a shame, because I think Speedball Mike Bailey is an incredible talent. But I do like the team of Jet Speed. I do feel that because they're two flippy dudes, they could go the same way as Top Flight and Private Party. but I hope that isn't going to be the case because I think they do mesh well together. We can also talk about the other tag team match we had at the very end of 0 Hour, which was FTR defeating the Outrunners, a match that should have happened a few months ago when the Outrunners were actually stupidly hot. And I don't mean sexy hot. I mean when they were stupidly over with the crowds. But it was a match that happened. We knew the end result. And because we knew the end result, there wasn't really that much invested in it. I will say it was one of the better Outrunners matches I've seen in a long time, though. And I think that is very much something to do with FTR's involvement. What say you guys?
For which the tag for the 0 Hour tag or the
For the 0 Hour tag? You could. Oh, we didn't ask
I
you
didn't
about
watch
the
it.
other one.
No,
No.
I didn't watch it. No,
Well, there you go.
I was going to comment on about the other tag, the one that happened at the Edge with Edge. We did talk about this last week.
Oh my god!
So,
Right.
Right,
rant coming.
Okay, yeah. So basically, Edge did the Jeff Hardy and the who did it last month? Who did it?
Penta. The Penta.
That was it. Penta literally came out as Christian was about to be concertoed, and then literally the chair is hovering to the point like even I said,
when's he coming? When's he coming? When's he coming?
I'm going to slow this down a little bit because we've jumped ahead of ourselves.
Sorry.
What caused this to happen was I had to explain the storyline reasons to these two guys. So basically, Nick Wayne had a little tour of Japan. He had won the TV title from Ring of Honor. And there appeared to be a gradual shift of momentum in the dynamic between Nick Wayne and Christian Cage, where Christian Cage started to show an element of respect and humbleness towards Nick Wayne, whereas Nick Wayne was starting to get more of a backbone and more of like a badass demeanor about himself. And so we then led to this moment where after, I think it was actually Christian Cage that was pinned, wasn't he, in this match? Let me just double check that.
So?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he got speared by Lashley.
Lashley, yeah.
Right. Basically, the rest of the patriarchy, minus Killswitch, get well soon, Luchasaurus. I hope you do come back as Luchasaurus. They actually all turned. It was a setup all along, everybody. Because Shayna Wayne, who it was heavily insinuated was in some sort of a love affair with Christian Cage at one point, I was there going, evil cackle as he was getting the crap beat out of by Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. Talking about tag teams that could go far. The two little goth boys. Oh my God. Kip Sabian and his lovely eyeshadow. That then brought forward a certain former Edge, now going by Cope. Harriett, you may continue.
Okay. Right. Okay. Pretty much, I think I said this literally seconds before he appeared, didn't I? I said, I think Cope is coming back.
Yeah.
And then he did. I had a couple of good predictions that came true on this for some reason.
Oh, you really did.
But, it came out, but thinking, Christian's fine. I'll just go out on stage, do the whole celebration, cheer with the crowd. And it's just I bet Wayne's just stood there with the chairs do I hit him or not?
Because on this day, I just want to run up and down my stage before I go and do some work.
That's pretty much that's what Fox said. Yeah, it all went Jeff Hardy, pretty much.
Christian is lying on the floor. I'm in so much pain, Edge. What are you doing on this day? And Pyro as well. Why?
I know, right? So ran, saved him. Everyone scattered. And then we thought, he's going to get the, hey, go F yourself. Instead, Edge said, Cope, I keep forgetting his name. Cope said to Christian, go find yourself. So basically, it is leading to them kind of reuniting and probably facing off against his former family. Because wrestling! Oh dear. Yes. So Matty, should we just open the floodgates in regards to how you feel about this? And yeah, I'm done with this part. So
What the fudge? In the world of wrestling, kayfabe or not, is when you're at one point fictional brother, but certainly like goddad of your children, you know, to the point where they call him uncle and stuff.
Yep.
He's having his head about to be caved in by 2 chairs. And you know how much it's going to hurt because you just do it enough times yourself. Do you go, oh, wait, let's play my music. Let's play all of my pyro. Let's watch me go from side to freaking side of the bloody, 5-mile radius entrance and slowly go down. But I better stop again and set off more pyro. And then I go down and make the freaking save.
Can you imagine? He messaged Jeff Hardy afterwards and said, "Did I do good?"
It's like, gotta make my entrance. Oh, yeah, gotta fit it all in. Yeah. Oh, God, is he bleeding to death? Oh, wait, gotta make this really quick. Oh, my God. Anyway, I know it's silly. It's bollocks. Make believe it's pantomime. It's fictional. I get that. But this is so fucking stupid.
Eventually, I'm going to put it out there. Eventually, someone is going to do that, and the person is going to go, "Nah, fuck this."
If you're going to do the big return, it worked so well, even though we all knew it. When Ron Killings, who is still just R-Truth, is wearing his old merchant shit again, like when he turned up in his little hoodie, that was fine. That you got the big pop regardless. Edge should have just come in with a hoodie. That's it.
I'm going to put a comparison to this, which is probably going to be dumb, but someone's just thought of. So, you know, in transformation sequences in anime,
yeah,
you know, they're transforming and the enemy is just watching, or they just watch them like, it kind of has the same appeal.
My wife has put up with my cartoons for like 20 odd years, right? She has sat through He-Man, she sat through She-Ra, she sat through Sailor Moon. She has sat through all of this. She sat through Kamen Rider, Blink in Super Sentai. She has sat through, and she has always made the same complaint. She said, why don't they just go over and kick them in the nads while they're in the middle of their transformation?
Just go kick them in the dick.
Why don't they just go for it and give them a gut punch? In the time it takes for them to transform, just give them a good shanking, you know?
Oh my God.
It's... Especially Sailor Moon.
Sailor
Moon is the worst offender for this with her. It's like she takes like 10 billion years to put all the ribbons around herself and stuff, right?
I mean,
and if she's in the chat right now, she's going to blink and jump in and just reiterate everything I just said. Like, she's just, why does it take forever? And it's like, because it's dramatic license. I know... Going back 4 round, this is what they're doing on a wrestling show with bells and whistles and spectacle. I get that. But then when you take that all aside, it's so dumb. It's so stupid. You know, we're talking about the same show where there was high stakes with actual human emotions and absolute drama involved. You know, talking about Hangman and then stuff with Swerve and all of that. It's like when you got all that and then, oh, quick, we got to make my entrance. Pow, pow, pew, pew, pew. Imagine this in a real life scenario. If you're like a blinking ambulance driver. Oh, quick, better start my music.
I did see a skit, funny enough, recently of if you were being robbed or something happened and people doing their wrestling entrances and they're trying.
Yes, I shared that one. That one. Someone's getting robbed. It's like all these people just turning up and just kind of I'm being robbed. Why are you doing the penta walk?
There's a look at the Jeff Hardy as well.
Oh my God.
Like a clear like 20, 30 meters away from the robbery.
I'll be honest with you. If it wasn't for the fact we did the thing about Penta and Jeff Hardy last week, and then this happened, which was 10 times worse than any complaint I could make about the other two. Like, at least with Jeff Hardy, it was a smaller ramp. You know, at least
Oh yeah, that's true.
At least Penta was going in the right direction.
slowly.
Not going towards the ring.
Hey, SA, better make sure I touch with my peeps. Look.
He's a sexy papa. He's a sexy papa. He's a sexy papa.
Oh, I think we need to bring some decorum back to both my sanity and this podcast.
Bring the chaos.
Oh,
Bring
you
the boom.
do it. It's awesome. Yes. So, I think we're pretty much. Is there any other tag teams we need to talk about? No, there was many
No.
multi-man matches. We'll
Yeah.
gloss over that for now. Harriett,
Mhm.
back to you old chaos monkey yourself. Out of all of this, we've now got 10 matches to go. We kind of glossed over a few. It's fine. What was your favourite match out of this lot?
By no surprise, Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné.
It was mine too, but carry on.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I've got a second favourite. Go on.
I purely because I've really loved Toni Storm's run in this. I've actually started growing with Mercedes as well. Like at the beginning, I think last year when we watched All In, everyone went away when her match came on, everyone disappeared.
Yeah, I think I remember I was not the biggest fan of Monet at that point. And it's not because, she left WWE and gone. It's just like, I just wasn't gelling with the character. I just wasn't kind of... Yeah. Even though she was being poured as a heel, per se, it's just like, all right, fine. You've got corgis. That's nice. All In.
We didn't even realize at the time.
Which we didn't see.
I have said this in a couple of the other AEW reviews, and I've been a staunch defender of Monet, and I'm going to continue this now because I think that match between her and Britt Baker was very much the outlier in what has been otherwise a really stellar year for Monet. Yeah. And I think every time she's been in a high-profile match now, you have seen the improvement there, and all the character work has been paying off. Look at the stuff she was doing with Timeless Toni Storm here. You know, like she isn't just like a faceless person here to get a cash grab. She's got a fully fledged character amongst her. Even when she is getting her gooch bitten down on by Toni Storm. There was a lot of OSW style lesbian pollen in this storyline. Probably a smidge too much on one side, but when it comes to Timeless Toni Storm, you know what you're gonna get. Yeah, this was my favorite match as well. Pretty much the match of the night for me. Anything else, Harriet, as you want to talk about stuff that happened in the match?
Probably stuff that happened before the match more than anything. Like as we talked about, like with Mercedes' entrance, it was like there was cheerleaders with all wearing her belts. Not all of them, but most of them wearing the belts she had. All the names of the people she's defeated on the coach she had, which was pretty remarkable because at this point she has been undefeated in this in AEW. And then Timeless Toni Storm, we all remarked about how cool her entrance was, like with the red filter amongst the black and white, because obviously that's been her thing of the Carmen Sandiego thing, or being a detective sort of thing. The match was good. It kind of gave away that the point that even though Toni Storm tried so many times to use her finisher on Monet and kept on kicking out, you could see Storm was kind of getting upset that you'd think, is she actually going to do this? And those doubts started creeping in, and then obviously by the end she did win. But I just enjoyed this match with the fact that I didn't know I had my money on Monet literally to win. So for Toni to win, that was a shock, but a very good shock for me. And because I just kept on saying, oh well, Mercedes is going to win every title until she's pretty much unstoppable. But it was, thinking about it, it was probably a good stop for her to have, and then realize, wait a minute, I am defeatable in a way. So it's a good way looking forward story wise what's going to happen with Mercedes, but then I don't know what's going to happen next week. Well, I know Toni, who she's facing now for after the gauntlet, but it kind of threw it a little bit that I really enjoyed this match. And yeah, in regards to some stuff that happened in between.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed it, and the finisher was very good as well in regards to how Storm finished the match.
I mean, you literally said. I would say, and I would argue, I think we kind of know what Tony's future is going to be. I don't know when it's going to happen because you can keep hold of that contract for quite a while because Christian Cage has already done that. I think, amongst all else, this has got to be, and we'll segue this nicely into the gauntlet matches. I think. I mean, this has got to be Athena's time to shine now because she is officially classed as AEW's longest reigning single title holder now in the company. I think she's held on to that title for 2 years, 3 years now in Ring of Honor. But herein lies the problem. She is a women's champion in Ring of Honor. A company that is treated like a complete afterthought in the grand scheme of things. Like, Bandido is your world champion in Ring of Honor. He's treated like a mid-card every time he's in Dynamite. And they have an opportunity now to stick Ring of Honor in a podium and say, look at Athena, look how class she is, look how indomitable she is, look how many people she has defeated, and look how long she has retained that title. This is a good idea now to hopefully just not make her another victim in Tony's reign, actually make her a dominable force. Like this, if you thought that Monet was going to be like Tony's white whale and she managed to conquer it, Athena's just there like a hovering spectre now. And if there's any justice in the world, that's what you do now. You potentially keep Athena on storylines going forward now.
Yeah. I mean, there is probably a very good case to continue Monet and Storm as a future program at another big event down the line. And you can, and maybe there's the feud becomes between Athena and Monet down the line as the centerpiece, because I think a lot of people, I think the general consensus is Monet was probably winning yesterday, and then so it was quite surprising when Storm actually retained because of the whole belt collector gimmick, and you kind of think, okay, well this makes a bit of sense. It's like you've got to have like the crown jewel. Considering the last couple of All-Ins, it was like the very first All-In in London, she was in the crowd.
Yeah.
By the next one, she's TBS champion, and then by this one, it's kind of like a really cool, like, oh yeah, each time an All-In has come around, Monet has become that much greater in the division.
Yeah.
So it could have worked out quite nicely. But no, I still think I think there'll probably be another match between Storm and Monet down the road, and maybe Athena factors into that with the contract.
Yeah. Let's not also forget the fact that Monet is still TBS champion as well. So and you've got a very strong women's mid-card there. We just had Tay Mello come back. You've still got Megan Bain there. We've had quite a few introductions of new female talent now in the company as well that could really do to have a bit of shine by facing off against Monet before they go and see either Athena or Timeless Tony Storm. This can only be a good thing so long as they pull the trigger properly. And this is key.
Yeah, I will say, and this has come up in the chat from Sean UCN, which I think is actually quite a good point that he's made. They've really tied up a lot of the roster on this pay-per-view and making AEW exciting again. And I think and considering the women's gauntlet in particular, there was a lot of talent there that felt like their own individual talents, like Megan Bain, Tequila, not Tequila. Am I pronouncing that one?
I think it's Tika.
Obviously, she's a new arrival there as well.
Yeah.
And even some of the established stars that have been there for a while, like Tay Mello and all that sort of stuff. They all now feel like they are their own individual characters. I think one of the things I've always felt has been a bit of a disadvantage with AEW over the years is basically they have one or two big women's wrestlers, and the rest feel like they're just either jobbers or maybe waiting for that right moment to properly click with the audience. And I feel the women's gauntlet match highlighted a number of talent that you could see ultimately being a world champion down the line.
So, yeah, let's talk about that. We're going to talk about both gauntlets now. We're going to basically cover both as one incapacitating thing. I'd explained the rules to these guys on what class is a gauntlet as opposed to a Royal Rumble. And sure enough, they did a great job with this. So I've had people ask, why were people excited to get the number 1 position or a number 2? And the whole idea of an AEW gauntlet match is that you want to start the match. Because that way, if you still got 2 people in the match and you can compete as heavily as you can right at the start, you could end it right there and then. So this is as good as a reverse Royal Rumble than the actual reverse Royal Rumble was in TNA. I'm always excited to see a gauntlet match. I think they've done an incredible job of finally refining what I think was a really shoddy casino battle royal. That they started in Double or Nothing years ago. I think they've really refined what it actually is to have, what a gauntlet match actually means now. And whenever one comes along, it's always been exciting. We had one last year. I think that was one of the most funnest matches on the card. And I think both the gauntlet matches in last night's All In were also pretty damn fun. I haven't got a list of who was in either of these matches, but I can say that I definitely liked the women's match overall over the men's match, despite it being shorter, because as Dane has rightly said, it did a really good job of showcasing each of the women on the roster, even introducing a new lady from Stardom. I don't think she's actually on the AEW roster. I think she was literally there on the night from Stardom.
That's Sayuri.
Yes. So I haven't really got much else to say about that except for what Ian has already covered, in that if you really want to showcase what people that aren't necessarily in the card are capable of doing, a gauntlet match is one of the best ways you can get around with that. Multi-man matches or multi-person matches as well, I suppose, but a gauntlet match where there's definite stakes involved, brilliant. Any standouts to you guys when it came to the women's gauntlet?
Athena obviously making a big. I think she got one of the bigger pops in that match. I mean, there was a good start between Megan Bain and Chris Statlander at the start as well. I think those are some of the ones that came to mind straight away.
Same question for the men's.
Well, I think we were talking about this going into match. It was clearly built around the MGF Mark Briscoe storyline here. So it was considering they were more the central focus against because the funny thing with the women's gauntlet is when it was promoted, it was the only 2 people ever announced. And then even though they had obviously people taking part on that match card in the build, I was like, here's Chris Statlander and here's Megan Bain. And the rest, and for the men's, you've got a little bit more. But with MGF and Briscoe being front and center, it's like, well, one of them's winning, considering the amount of promos they've been doing against one another. So obviously, it's always fun seeing MGF wrestle. And I like that I like this sort of initial thing where he started teaming up with Ricochet at the start, saying we both don't like Briscoe. Let's go beat him up for a little bit. And ultimately ended with a poke to the eye.
Here's the other thing about a gauntlet match in AEW as well. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can do that in a Royal Rumble as well, but with a gauntlet match, you genuinely don't have any friends out there, really.
Yeah.
In a gauntlet match, because again, the whole point is you got to be the one that takes that like pins somebody in the match. So there isn't really much wiggle room for alliances in a gauntlet, which is another dynamic that I like, which is refreshing as opposed to a WWE Royal Rumble, as it were.
The one thing that I felt was kind of silly at times was the amount of extra people from factions getting involved in both of them. It's like, I get it. At certain points, get them involved. But it's like, say, Sky Blue was lingering around the women's one for like half the match. And it's like, are you sure she's just not a competitor in this match at this stage? I was just waiting for that next person. It's Sky Blue and she's already in the match. We're doing whatever. That's the one thing I think needs a little bit of fine tuning on the gauntlet match or this style of gauntlet match. It's like, I like the format. It's quite good fun. It's just maybe a bit more authority of when people are getting involved who shouldn't be involved. Because it was just kind of like, hey, stop it. Get out of the ring. I'm just going to punch this person. Well, please leave. You're being mean.
I mean, I pretty much agree with you. We've had tag team gauntlets as well, and I think that's the better utilization of factions, I think, when it comes to that. I would like to see another tag team gauntlet, actually, if they do another Daily's Place show. I think it's always been the best place to do that in. So, yeah, I pretty much agree with you on that one. I've just seen a message on the chat there from Sean, who said Hurt Syndicate MJF is back to MJF's best. Felt that he was in and out of AEW before that. I would say that's been going on for some time, Sean, especially with his hectic schedule appearing in WWE sponsored movies like Happy Gilmore 2. So I think, unfortunately, it's a bit of a necessary evil to have that stop-start with MJF. But when he is on screen and he's at his absolute dickish, I think is when he's at his best. I'm really interested to see what they do ultimately with him when it comes to the Hurt Syndicate. There's got to be an end plan there. And I just don't see what it is yet. Because I thought they were going to string him along and then they were going to bring a different person in. And then that led to them basically feuding with MJF. That didn't happen. And I genuinely do not know where this is heading. I like that he dressed like MVP for a little while with his singlet. We went back to like little tiny Randy Orton pants MJF again for this. Surprisingly though, despite the fact that the entirety of the men's gauntlet was built around MJF and Mark Briscoe, it wasn't Mark Briscoe he pinned.
No.
It was Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
Poor Roddy.
I know, poor Roddy. And now he doesn't really have a faction either, considering what we're going to talk about real soon. I think with that, again, both gauntlets, great. I can see a very good women's division. Hey, we had Harley Cameron turn up at one point with her lovely mask. She's mental. It looks like we're going to have a small faction with Anna Jay, Tay Mello, and Harley Cameron. I don't think Harley Cameron is cleared yet, which is why she didn't really do much apart from knock someone off the ring apron. But if she's here to stay as a person on the side for Anna and Tay, I'm there for it. I hand on heart, I have not watched much of the weekly programming as of late. For reasons, I don't have an awful lot of time, but I did a bit of a catch up. I actually sent one of you guys a bit of storyline that happened on Collision just a couple of days ago prior to All In, which explains a lot, which we'll talk about later. But one thing that I've been really appreciated of seeing is, at least in Collision, they've been utilizing the women a lot more. And it feels to me that we're going to be getting a women's tag division real soon because they've been partnering up an awful lot of the women as of late. And me and Harriett have talked about this both on screen and off screen. And we said, you got to do something with the roster first before you introduce more belts.
Yeah.
And if they continue in the path they've been taking, my solution to that is what you're doing with Collision, move that over to Dynamite and build up these women and do something with that division. Don't just have a thing you pull out of your rear end every now and again, like WWE are doing with, I'm going to say it, the women's tag titles are just props. And I don't feel they've been anything more than that for a very long time. And so if you're going to do something like that, actually make it mean something. And it seems like we're going slowly in that direction. How many women's matches did we have here?
2. Gauntlet and the women's title.
Yeah. See, that sucks.
So that doesn't give me too much confidence with a women's tag thing coming into AEW. I mean, if they make it work, they make it work. But it's just like, it's the thing. You either introduce it and give it time, or it ends up being similar to what WWE have kind of done. I think for Evolution, they were obviously starting to build up a storyline with the tag team belts for Evolution. Clearly, that didn't happen due to injury, but yeah, it's the thing. It's like having belts is a great thing. You just need to have the story, and I think that's been sometimes the thing with AEW when they've had a ridiculous amount of belts. It's just like, we've got belts, great.
Let me talk about a little rant I had prior to yesterday, because we found out from a media call from Tony Khan that the unified title isn't actually just a unified continental and international title. The person who wins the unified title basically carries all 3 titles. And I'm like, no, don't do that. That's stupid and dumb. And I'm glad to see that got backpedaled a little bit by the time we reached Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega for the unified title, because those belts weren't there. We're going to segue because this was my second favorite match of the evening. But just before we do that, before we finish the gauntlet matches, I just want to say welcome to the chat, N64 Live podcast, who said that the AEW women's division is night and day what it was. They seem to be building a division finally. To your point, Dane, that what you said there, I literally say rewind 5 years ago where you had just one women's match a week, and a lot of that was built around Brandy Rhodes. And now you move forward to today, and we definitely have several storylines. They're not utilized anywhere near as well as the men, but we are going somewhere. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm really, really hoping for. Just one other bit of business. We'll do a little bit of admin before we go over to my favorite match. We are going to be covering WWE Evolution. The lovely Harriett will be the main host for that one with a special guest. You're going to do absolutely bloody great, Harriett. Don't give me that worried look. I absolutely have to say, this is important. Number one, watch WWE Evolution. We want women's wrestling to flourish. Number two, out of any review that we've done this past year, I'd say this one is the most important. Go check out Harriett. Please support the review when it comes up live, because much like women's wrestling, we like this person, and I think she would like to have your support. So there we go. Evolution review coming up to you sometime in the midweek. So, with that being said, my favourite match was, of course, Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné. However, if I was told to avoid the lesbian pollen long enough, I decided to go and do some homoerotica in itself, in which we had Kazuchika Okada defeating Kenny Omega, formerly the Continental Champion and the International Champions, for the new Unified Championship. A match that, on surface, if I could just say, what?
Question. I don't get why. I know it's unified because it's the two belts together, but just calling it Unified Champion, he's a bit lazy.
I agree. It's a beautiful belt. I agree.
Belt. Yes.
It should be the Intercontinental Championship. Because you had the International Championship and the Continental Championship.
I think someone might be calling them up if they did that.
There was an IWGP Intercontinental Championship. They didn't sue them then. They shouldn't sue them now. Anyway.
Well, that might be because it was a Japanese wrestling promotion. This one is the main competitor now. So
they call it the International then, but I don't care.
Can they call it the Continental Breakfast? The Continental Breakfast.
Yes.
The Continental.
I won't get into my thoughts here, Dane. I'm a serious wrestling journalist.
I had to dive into that King and Phil's skit about the Continental Breakfast. I'm sorry.
Now I'm hungry. Harris is my favourite. Okay, so I've been somewhat distracted by the chat now. Jesus crikey. Right. I will get through this. On the surface, if I could give this match one critique, it did feel like it was Okada and Omega's best of. Because an awful lot of what I saw here, I have seen before. However, I will argue to you guys, if this was your first time watching Okada and Omega, this is a good gateway. Watch this match. then go watch Dominion from about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like Dominion 2018, 2017. I can't remember which year, but it was pretty much a banger. Their Iron Man match was incredible. I think they set off in the G1. That was incredible. Like, I don't think this was like the top of their matches. I keep disappearing off the page. I'm so sorry. This isn't up here, but it is most definitely literally on par with the other matches they've had before. People complain about Okada being 3-star Okada. We didn't get that here. People have been complaining. I mean, the amount of battery that Omega dealt and was dealing in this match, and they kept saying this, and if they keep saying this, we're going to turn this into a drinking game. They kept bringing up the fact that Omega is missing 2 inches of intestines. And it got to the point where I kept saying, we need to start a drinking game. We simply need to start a drinking game.
But Matty, Kenny Omega's lost about two bits of intestines.
Did he manage to find it behind the sofa?
I don't know.
Did he check the fridge?
But your best bet is watching the channel.
Hold on.
I mean, I don't know where to follow that. This was one of my favorite matches of the night. I think its placement, unfortunately, as well, was where I know you were flagging. Harriett was certainly flagging. Like, literally, it got to the point where I said to Dane, look, here's a link to the show. Go watch it in the morning. Come back to me. Because these two were zonked by the time this match came along.
I think placement might. I thought this would probably been earlier in the card, because usually if you want to space out your big events, then you kind of go. Maybe it could have been your opener, and then you have Tony and Monet in the middle, and then you have Hangman and Moxley at the end. I think placement after the fact we kind of got really engaged in the Tony Storm match, and then it was like, okay, now we can kind of disconnect. And that I think sometimes that is it's a positive and a negative of AEW, because the next match will be a banger as well. But sometimes it's like you need to have the energy to enjoy said banger.
I mean, over on the YouTube, welcome to the chat, Universal. He said the Okada Omega match was the worst match of the 5 they had, but the match was still okay. It's literally just reiterating what I just said there. I mean, I literally say, if you guys have enjoyed the match that they had last night, literally Dominion, go check out Dominion. That is literally what they had there last night, but 10 times more brutal. Literally, they can't do a bad match together. They literally cannot, and they then went on to say that All In is the show of the year. Do you know what? Despite the length, despite the fact that the 3 of us were practically like gonzo near the end, and dear God, it was 8 hours long. My freaking God. The wrestling never stops, guys. I definitely think it's been like up there in the top 5 of top shows this year. I genuinely enjoyed All In. I loved it.
I think going back to my sort of opening thoughts about All In, it's like they haven't really delivered a bad All In. It's like there's always been something to. I mean, even at the first one in Wembley, and even though you had like the things like Anarchy in the Arena, you had things like obviously MGF and Adam Cole at that point in time as well. It's kind of like it was still a fun environment to be a part of, to witness, and it was still a fun event. And then last year there was also fun bits as well. You had Ospreay and MJF, you had Danielson versus Swerve, all that sort of stuff. So it's like they definitely put all their effort into making sure All In is the one that delivers, which is a good thing. And I also like the fact that it is nicely spaced out from All Out this time.
Yes, that's just so dumb that they put that so close to each other, because you can't. You can't. Yeah, it was a week. It was about 8 days.
Yeah,
it was about 8 days. You can't just say it's tradition, because you've already walked that back, Tony. So shush, just shush. I don't even think it's in Chicago anymore. We need to double check that.
Have a look.
Yeah. But yes, I've not got much else to say. Like I said, this is definitely an Okada mega match. They can't do no wrong. It was incredible. Not the biggest one they've done, but certainly one to check out. Have you guys got any more to say about this match before we move on and basically talk about other stuff that happened during the card?
From my side, also just very quickly, All Out 2025 is taking place in Canada. So that's it's Toronto.
Yeah, Universal on the YouTube's just confirmed that as well.
So in terms of this match, it's really, again, a really solid match. I like they worked in story elements, obviously, of the intestine injury and stuff like that, because there were certain times where Kenny couldn't do certain moves, or he felt the aftermath of a kick to the stomach and stuff like that. I mean, you had prick Don Callis doing the double duty of, I'm going to comedy. Hang on a minute, guys. I'm just going to go beat up Kenny for a moment. And then just come back and say, I did nothing. Kenny started it. Kenny started this attack this time round. All that sort of stuff. So I kind of liked that aspect into it as well. I think we were all expecting Kota Ibushi to turn. It just didn't happen.
Cliff, once again, proving that the guy has absolutely no long-term or short-term memory again, has said, wait, Kenny had intestines removed? Yeah, mate, I hate to break it to you. It's like my lactose intolerance, mate. It's just a thing that happened. It's just a thing that happens. Harriett, anything else you need to add to this match before we move on and talk about...
I was going to mention the Don Callis as well, pulling double duty.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favourite part for her. And I think there was one point he actually ran away.
He did. Now,
and then he came back.
Now, you talk about, best of New Japan matches. Don Callis, when he was a commentator, he would do this every time, somebody fearsome was near him. He would slink off. He would run away. He would literally... You would audibly hear him scream like a little octave as he hides under the desk, that sort of thing. He wasn't even a heel during his New Japan run. He'd just be like the Bobby Heenan commentator role. This is all stuff he has done, and this was peak top Don Callis. I think we enjoyed it when that happened. I think we enjoyed it when he slunk off. The fact that he would then do his little punch to Omega whenever the referee had his back turned. And then as soon as the referee would turn around, immediately teleport back into his chair going, wasn't me. It was JR. JR did it. JR, who would not be able to move out of his chair if he tried, it's Don Callis, heel Don Callis on commentary is incredible.
Quick side tangent. I watched one of the TNA live streams. So the TNA have been doing a lot of live streams on their channels of just old stuff. And I saw the feud he had. I can't remember the other guy when they were fighting over control of TNA. Is it? Oh, I forget his name. But he had a tag match. Not Scott D'Amore, someone earlier. So this person was teaming up with AJ Styles to take on Jeff Jarrett and Abyss.
Oh, is it going that far back in time?
Yeah, so I was watching some of that.
So this was weird. So we had two different sets of security as well during those times. We had the red shirt security and the normal dark shirt security. And I think the red shirt security was led by Don Callis, one of them being Joe Legend from Celebrity Wrestling.
Oh, yes. That show, which I have totally given up on watching on stream. Because it's shit.
Which is why I thought it was good to bring that up right now.
Yes. Sorry. It's just on the topic of Don Callis.
Yeah.
I only watched little bits of some of it, and it's he's got. And this is when he had a noticeable bald spot, and he had long wavy hair, and it's this is weird.
When he was the Jackal in the Attitude Era, and when he was Cyrus the Virus in the ECW near the end of its life, he was fighting a losing battle with that hairline. He really was. He's like Nick Jackson, which I pointed out. I think Nick Jackson has had hair plugs done because his hairline has noticeably gone down a few inches. I think Nick Jackson's had some work done. You can apparently, according to Cliff, you could only catch current Pokemon in either the red or blue security. Certainly, thanks. That is a Pokemon reference. And we don't normally do this, but go check out N64 Live podcast on the Sunday night. He's going to be talking about Ross and Gromit later. There's your plug. Right, I think we need to move on, and we're going to talk about little storyline bits here and there. We're going to go through the whole thing, and then we're finally going to reach our destination, that being the main event. So first, we had 0 Hour, in which we had the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes, Marshall Von Erich, Ross Von Erich, and Sammy Guevara, with Kevin Von Erich, recent Legends contract signee, defeating Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, and Captain Sean Dean with Anthony Ogogo and Trish Adora. That's a lot of people by pinfall. This was all right until I pointed out we had pretty much exactly the same finish in Wembley last year. We then moved on to Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration. Remember the Conglomeration? AEW suddenly remembered, that being Kyle O'Reilly, Hologram, and Tomohiro Ishii. I didn't know Hologram was a member of the Conglomeration, but apparently he is. With Big Justice and the Rizzler. The Rizzler. The Rizzler. The Rizzler.
It's like, I've got so much Riz. That's what they say now, Riz.
Some important lore I found out today. The Rizzler got given his cowboy hat by the bestest cowboy of them all, Tomohiro Ishii.
Good.
Moving on. FDR and Cash Wheeler with Dax Harwood and Stokely Hathaway defeated the Outrunners, Truth Magnum, and Turbo Floyd via pinfall. I think this is the best match the Outrunners has done in their AEW career thus far. It was a good little tag match. FDR was always going to win. It is what it was. We progress into the main roster. The Ops, Katsuyori Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe defeated the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and Rita Yuta, as well as Gabe Kidd by pinfall. It was a nice little back and forth. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys. The more important thing, though, is what happened after the match, because we don't know what's happened here. But basically, after the match, the Death Riders took out Samoa Joe by Pillmanizing his head. What's going on with Samoa Joe?
Well, Twisted Metal's just come out, so...
Well, season 2 is starting at the end of the month, so unless they've already got an early season order for 3, which I don't think they've announced. But then again, it's like Joe has been doing quite a lot of voice work and also little bits of acting here and there now. So it could be he could be off for a little project for a little bit and he'll be back quite soon, or it's a storyline aspect. Well, it is a storyline aspect, but it's just like maybe it's just like Joe is unavailable for the next couple of weeks because of X, Y, and Z. Let's do this.
Absolutely. Again, I like this match. I don't know about you guys. Harriett?
Yeah, it was a good match. Good way to start it off, like with the Death Riders at the beginning and then Death Riders at the end, influencing kind of the beginning and the end of this whole storyline. So it kind of worked well in regards to placement. It was a good match.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It was fine. I mean, I think there was a good story element of his Death Riders taking out Joe, because then I didn't realize it until watching like other reviews. It's like, oh, well, maybe this is the sign that they're taking out Hangman's friends before the main event, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, no, it was fine. I don't recall anything memorable. So for me personally, there was something memorable. It's just this is an 6-man tag. Let's move.
I pretty much enjoyed it myself. It was. I think the one thing we take away from it is obviously what was going on with Samoa Joe. I think I heard from one of the other news outlets is one of the things is it was to add weight to the fact that they did exactly the same thing to Will Ospreay later on in the card during the main event. We then move on to, and apologies if it looks like we're literally blitzing through the whole card now, but like I said at the beginning of this review, if we did this blow by blow, we're going to be here for 10 million years. But the reason why we're doing this is we're basically now combing the card for storyline beats that happen during the progression of the show. MJF, of course, won the men's casino gauntlet match.
Can I point out with the men's gauntlet match about, is it Mystico and his romantic theme music.
Okay.
I've never felt more romantic in all my life from Mr. Coach coming out to ring, and I haven't seen the entrance side of things when it was Grand Slam Mexico, but it was just like, what a lovely romantic wrestling theme tune. I feel so in love.
I want to find it on my Spotify. I want to find that now. It was so lovely. It was a lovely part of that match where it's like, it went on forever to the point where I thought, are they going to play his music throughout the majority of the gauntlet now?
Yeah, because he came into the ring and just stood there, the music playing. It's like, what's going on? Is he trying to romance people? I don't know. But I'm intrigued.
This was because of the match Mystico had with MJF a couple of weeks prior.
The mask removal and stuff.
Yeah, where MJF removed his mask, because now MJF has a thing about luchadors like Gabe. I nearly called him Gabe Kidd. Gabe. Yeah. Yeah, that guy. The guy who's not El Grande Americana.
I mean, have you seen that El Grande Americano has evolved into even bigger El Grande Americano?
That's his middle form. He's going to evolve again. We all know that Omos is going to be ultimately that guy. He's won a mask before.
He was a ninja.
I think the right guy won this. As much as I'd love Mark Briscoe, and I do, I absolutely adore Mark Briscoe. But considering who won the main event, MJF is going to be an incredible foil for him down the road. So I definitely think it was the right decision to have MJF win this. We now have to talk about one massive thing, and there's no easy way to say this. Adam Cole is, I'm not going to say injured. There is some reports saying where this potential injury is taking place, but more importantly and more worryingly, they've been describing it as medical issues. I don't want to speculate, and we're not going to speculate. But what we do know is the fact that he was teasing a possible retirement here, and I think everything we saw there was 100% genuine. Any match that followed that was going to have to really pull in the crowd. And yeah, let's talk about this for a second. Adam Cole, his entire AEW career has been absolutely snake bitten.
Yeah.
Like from concussion protocols to breaking his ankle to every time he built any kind of momentum, fate just dealt him a shit hand. And it's ridiculous. And I just feel for the guy. What do you guys think?
It was really emotional to watch. I was tearing up watching him talk about saying it's not goodbye, but sort of thing. That was what hit most. And you could see he was genuinely upset. Like, he was crying before he'd even begun talking, and you kind of knew this is bad. This is real bad. If they had to, because Matty let us know, because we didn't watch 0 Hour initially, but he did message to say, there's not going to be a title match and Adam Cole's no longer the champion. We were just like, what's going on? And then to be fair play for because obviously everything's spaced out, but fair play for Tony Khan giving him that chance to talk about it rather than hear about it secondhand and speculate. And obviously he had support there with the others to help him afterwards and hug it out. And then it was a weird segue to start the match, and like you said, they had to find a way to elevate it, because obviously I think from what I've heard and I've seen from reviews, the air was sucked out of the room in regards to that news, and you just kind of, how do you deal with that sort of news? And like you said, Adam Cole really has had some bad luck injury wise, and as you know, he's had good storylines and suddenly it's had to be taken away. So I really, really did feel for him. And I think from above of all of us, we wish him well, and hopefully he gets well soon. And back in the ring very soon, because I do like his character. I did like the way he ended off with the Adam Cole baby, all about the boom. Hopefully we'll see that again in the future.
Not for anything else as well. The guy just seems like a genuinely good dude.
Yeah,
like the guy, which is weird because he doesn't feel like a natural babyface at all. Like, he's always been at his best when he's a heel. Yeah. But watching his Twitch streams and seeing the genuine love he has for video games, and and he just wants to share that love with his viewership. Like, if nothing else, if he does continue his Twitch streams, at least go out and support him, because the guy has a love for the medium that is like second to none. Anyway, sorry, I pretty much talked all over you there, Ian. What were you going to say?
I didn't have any much more to add on the Adam Cole side of things. It is quite gutting to see him having to relinquish the title, and clearly in a situation which definitely seems serious, but obviously the manner in which it was presented yesterday. Obviously, it hasn't been revealed what the issue is, and it's not anyone's business to try and pry or try and find that out. I mean, even Tony Khan in the media call kind of just said, well, we were planning to do the match, but then over the course of an evening and in the morning, it was, no, doctors have said no for some reason, so we have to take these measures. So, yeah, I mean, it's hopefully it is something Adam Cole can come back from. But yeah, it would be an absolute downer if that is the curtain call on a career and also his time in AEW, because it just hasn't really taken off from that like euphoric arrival at like all out years ago, just after like I think we had because he came, he joined the Elite, and then obviously he had the Bryan Danielson one as well, and it was like a real big euphoric, and that was the time when I was watching AEW regularly and I was reviewing it with Jeremy here on the channel, and I was like, this felt like the big moment where AEW was seriously about to do great business against WWE, and they were at the time in terms of creatively and in terms of watching the product. It was head and shoulders above what WWE were at that point in time. So to see that kind of slowly kind of peter out over the years just due to bad luck and injuries, it's like the whole Devil storyline just completely crumbled because of injuries, which was a shame, really. But
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway.
Not much else to really say except support the Chugs on YouTube and Twitch if he does continue down that path, which I really hope he does. I think more than ever, just send your love out to the guy. I think he absolutely deserves it. Right, so there is no easy way to get from that to this, kind of like this match did. But I will say, considering that this match was put together very much at the last moment and involved some people doing a massive amount of double duty here, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, along with Daniel Garcia, were added to the match against Carl Fletcher, a guy who we all assumed was going to win this match. We all just assumed that this was going to be Carl's match to win. So the fact that Dustin Rhodes won the title that AEW created for his brother Cody, very much, I always felt that the origin story of the TNT title was there for, I think this was always meant to be Cody Rhodes' title, because he did that silly thing where he stopped himself from earning a world championship in AEW. So this meant everything to Dustin to win basically his brother's title in Texas. It took a while to get going. I'd say I'm looking at this, it's a 15-minute long match, more or less, 15, 16 minutes. By the end of it, I think they really did succeed in winning the audience over. And that is a huge task to make, considering what that followed on from. So you got to give it to all of the men in that match for that. With that being said, one of the interesting things I saw during the course of this match is they were teasing some kind of storyline, plot line between Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. I think that we're getting close to Sammy splitting up from Dustin soon. I hope that Daniel Garcia, I say this every goddamn review, I hope they don't shit the bed with Daniel Garcia. He's an amazing young talent. I still think Carl Fletcher is going to eventually win a singles title. He's primed and ready for this. So I don't see Dustin keeping that title for long, unlike all his other titles that he's got from Ring of Honor. Jesus Christ. Talking about, again, afterthoughts. Him and Sammy Guevara have held the tag titles for so long that Sammy Guevara got injured at one point and they were still the tag champions because Ring of Honor is an afterthought. But I digress. One thing talking about Rhodes, one other thing I want to point out is it kind of looked like the Von Erichs sort of like Madrox the Multiple Man into 4 people at one point. And now I had to point out that no, they're not Von Erichs. Those are Rhodes. Those are Dustin and Cody's sister's sons. And you can tell that because one of them has stolen Cody's face. He's got long hair, looks like a cowboy, but he has Cody Rhodes' face. Which is bizarre because that's his sister's son. But he's got the Rhodes look. Moving on. We then get to Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. We have talked about that match at length. It was great. Check it out. Athena won the women's gauntlet match. Again, great showing. Loved it. I loved it a little bit more than I did the men's match because I think it was a great showcase of all the women out there. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin with MVP and MJF defeating Jet Speed, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and the Patriarchy. We have covered that match. More interested to see what happens with the Patriarchy and Cope and Cage down the road. I feel this is going to be a slow burner. Timeless Tony Storm with Luther defeating Mercedes Moné. We have talked about that. Incredible match. My personal favorite, Harry's favorite. We got 2 thumbs up for that one. Kazuchika Okada, the former Continental Champion, defeating Kenny Omega, the former International Champion, with Kota Ibushi, who I kept saying felt like he was going to turn on Kenny, but didn't. Via pinfall, the Golden Lovers prevail. And then finally, we have reached the final topic of conversation. That being Hangman Adam Page against Jon Moxley and the entire Death Riders. Let's face it, that's what happened in a Texas death match. Before we talk about the main event, please go check out 0 Hour. There is a very interesting interview between Renee Paquette and Jon Moxley in a car, which was conducted like a very concerned wife, somewhat angry with her husband. It was a joy to see.
I did watch it. It felt kind of like, this is the life with the Moxleys.
Yeah.
it's like, but why are you doing it, John? Because I just don't like him. He's got them.
Another little caveat I like to point out is in that same story clip that I sent these two, where it showed Swerve and Hangman clearing the air, as it were. What started was Renee Paquette started conducting an interview with Hangman, but because she is Moxie's wife, he said, yes, I would like to talk with those things, but not with you, and moved on. I love that every now and then, because they are in kayfabe as well as real life, husband and wife, certain people will not go near Renee. And that is a lovely little bit of spice on top of the brew that I love to see them sprinkle in every now and then. And she does actually genuinely show like concern whenever she sees Hangman as well. It's a nice little sort of like bit of chemistry between those two, I find. Anyway, with that being said, I am going to just get this out of the way now. I don't like death matches, don't like blood sports, don't like hardcore matches. I'm going to eat some humble pie here. I didn't like the content I saw before me. I was squicking the entire time. Loved the end result. I think I felt very emotional by the end of that. That felt so satisfying. So freaking satisfying. What do you think, Harriett?
Yeah, pretty much when you start in the first 5 minutes being stabbed in the head by a fork, you know things are going to go very brutal very quickly. And it did. I mean, yeah, I agree. I don't mind blood in wrestling, but to these extremes, especially ones that Hangman has been in before, I was worried because I haven't seen them in full because of reasons. Yeah, I think this whole story was beautifully paced. It was long. I know it was about 40 odd minutes, this match, but I wasn't really bored by it. It was more of I liked the way it played out, where each, from different, so like Death Riders came out, Swerve came out at one point, Osprey got the same treatment as what happened to Samoa Joe earlier on in the night, but and then we had some people come back, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, the match, I will say, not the worst of the death matches I have seen, so I could handle it. But yeah, some of them, I mean, I had a Teddy here beside me, and I was literally just like squeezing life out of it because just like, oh, this is not good, sort of thing. But yeah, I liked it. Very emotional ending. Yeah, it was well told. I'm glad that it ended the way it did, because I think a lot of people were getting fed up with the Death Rider story. So
that's
yeah,
one way of saying it.
I mean, I was one of them, even though I'm not an avid follower of AEW, even though I was just like, oh, for God's sake, sort of thing, whenever whenever Mox won. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored by it because I was just more of what's going to happen next. What are they going to bring out to attack? And there was many things. But yeah, in all, very good match. It was a great way to end the show, and kind of reminiscent of like the Cody winning the championship at WrestleMania 40. It kind of gave you that high of, this is wrestling, this is why we love wrestling and why we enjoy it.
Absolutely. I will say, because I've just had I just thought about this. The quality of the wrestling throughout this entire card was like second to none. I mean, weekly television notwithstanding, always check out an AEW pay-per-view. Sometimes they get the placement of matches wrong, but that you can never, ever, ever, ever complain about the quality of matches. I think this is the best work rate promotion we've got in America, for sure. And this was on show like pretty much across the board. Even the one with the Costco guys had some genuine moments of brilliance in it. And I just to rewind back to moments with like Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné. At one point, Tony did 3 sit-down power bombs directly to Moné's head.
Yeah,
you would not get away with that in WWE. That's the move that basically broke Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck when Owen Hart did that to him with one. And there's people doing that 3 more times. There's people like, if you were a fan of the hardest part of the ring, nearly everyone got dropped onto it in this show across the board. And just the quality. With that being said, not to take any of that away, for me, it was like watching a New Japan show with a sprinkling of sports entertainment through it. This felt to me like on par with a New Japan. Like with a Wrestle Kingdom. And that's what I'm going to take away from this. This is definitely up there. I think this surpasses a bit of WrestleMania, in all fairness, in terms of matches and quality like that. Anyway, with that being said, Ian, what did you think?
Death matches, I'm okay with them per se. There was a conversation in our live watching yesterday of why do we watch it if we are squeamish or we don't like the blood thing. And my thought on this, and I've been thinking on this question, and it's essentially, I think in certain moments of storytelling, especially in wrestling, these sort of match elements, they add the drama, they add the intensity of a rivalry. Case in point, Punk and McIntyre last year. I mean, the fact matter is, it is not a pretty match, especially with the blood. But the fact is, the rivalry had got to that stage that the stipulation of Hell in a Cell and the level of violence brings it in. And it's the same here with Page and Moxley. So yeah, immediately starting out with Mox getting stabbed repeatedly with a fork was definitely not what I was expecting to see. Nor did I like to see. But the fact matter is, I think that is, if it works for shock value and it works for the purpose of the story to bring you into this match of like, this is Page trying to do what many people have not done, and that is stop the Death Riders per se. then it works. I think sometimes in certain death matches, and I know AEW have done it in the past, where they will take things to a certain level, which is a little bit beyond the point of maybe you shouldn't have gone that far. It's like the whole injecting Swerve in one of these matches, all that sort of stuff.
Let's talk about that for a second, because at one point, me and Harriett both said the same thing. As brutal as this main event was, we felt that the violence in it was tamer compared to the ones we've seen prior, like the cage match between Hangman and Swerve. Like, there was some really unnecessary moments in that. The hardcore match between the same two guys, when Hangman, for no reason, started drinking Swerve's blood. Like,
that stuff I don't like. That stuff's kind of like, okay, that's just being a bit barbaric for the sake of it. But
I will tolerate hyper violence in a match if there is a valid point for it to happen. This had a valid point to it to happen, because you cannot stop Moxley any other way. The guy, as he is at this point, I don't know what's going to happen with the Death Riders after this. This is a guy that relishes hyper violence. This is the guy that started his career in death matches in backyards. This is the guy who was a mainstay of CZW. You know, so it had to be this kind of match in order for Hangman to face Jon Moxley on. So I didn't mind it from this point of view. But for me, it has to have a significant storyline purpose and a payoff. And I think the payoff that we got overall overcame any of the content we had prior to it. Because I said this earlier on in the review, the absolute satisfaction of visually seeing Hangman finally retrieving the title from the briefcase and breaking down. Because this isn't just a match between him and Jon Moxley. This has been a natural progression for Hangman Page, and I'm nearly about to tear up talking about this, that we have had over 2 years where the guy felt that he lost it all, where he absolutely lost the respect of everyone around him. Hangman Page is a man who, when you strip him right down, is there for the people and felt that the people deserted him. He is a guy who's fueled by the people around him. They give him strength like a spirit bomb, like Goku asking for people to lend him hit their aura, their in, like their very essence. He lives for this, and for those 2 years, he lost his way. And this was also the same storyline when you think about it, that Hangman started in at the very beginning of AEW when he was a ravenous alcoholic. The crowd turned him, and he built himself up, and he finally defeated Omega. This has been the best course of action they've done with Hangman since then. And I think this is 10 times more potent than we did than we had from those early days, because we've had arsehole Hangman who has lost his way. We've had hyper-violent Hangman because he's lost his sense of self. We have got this Hangman back who destroyed the career of Christopher Daniels. And to see him come out of the heel tunnel, I keep bringing this up and it's an ongoing joke, but I genuinely feel it in my soul that seeing this guy who feels that he's let everybody down in his head but cannot admit to it, come out that never go back into the babyface tunnel, because for him that signifies, well, if I do that, I'm lying to myself. I'm not that guy anymore. I am this arsehole. This has been suddenly the biggest storyline about mental health that I have witnessed in wrestling ever. So it really calls to me. And I was in tears when I left this call last night. I'm nearly about to blub now. This is why this pay-per-view for me has been nothing short but freaking excellent. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I totally agree. It has been a big, if you think about it, it has been building for a while. And yeah, like you said, it's the build up and then the crescendo of the payoff at the end. It really makes you think, wow, it's just like it's just beautiful, some of the storytelling in wrestling. It really is. And like you said, it affects people in many different ways. And the way you mentioned it, it's just like, yeah, if you think about it, that is true. It really is like a battle in regards to within yourself and dealing with those insecurities and those demons. So for it to pay off the way it did was beautiful.
It was the final nail in what brought Hangman back to the dance, as in the Hangman that has the adulation of the crowds around him. The collision prior to the match, which I didn't know happened, I found out pretty much after the fact, and I sent the clip to these guys. The significance of Swerve coming down to the ring with the chain, which I just thought it was just a chain. But the significance of the chain was when Hangman went to the back and tried to clear the air with Swerve, he left that chain in front of Swerve, and Swerve picked it up.
Yeah.
And we didn't know where this was going to lead, and it ultimately led to Swerve helping Hangman, because this was a very big part of the last 2 years, was not only Hangman, but was Swerve as well. These are two people that literally were living in the other guy's brain.
Yeah.
For 2 years.
Rent free, yeah.
One guy burnt the other guy's house down. The other guy's daughter's got post-traumatic stress disorder because Swerve broke into their house. Swerve's babyface turn started with him being an absolute twat. He's given the child post-traumatic stress disorder by breaking into their house and cutting a promo on them. You know? They've done some really shitty things to one another. But we lived there for it because, oh my God, the drama between them.
And you can see at the end when the match had finished, he just had this smile on his face as if to say it's come all full circle.
Yeah.
Which it had. So yeah.
And you're talking about babyface turns, like it goes back to the tag match between Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. A lot of thanks suddenly has to be given to Will Ospreay in this drama as well.
Yeah.
Ospreay is the guy that brought it all together.
Yeah.
And what's happening with Ospreay? Because he also had his neck pulverized by the Death Riders. I don't know what that's going to mean for Ospreay. So, but the growing friendships stemming between Strickland and Ospreay as well. You know, there's layers and great storytelling. And I think Triple H, one of his strengths as well, has been really, really has been like a huge asset to WWE for this as well. The layers upon layers of storylines of where they could go has been absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, if you talk about layers and so forth, you talk about the final stretch where everyone's coming out there right and center. And I did make a random prediction. It's like, well, if they're really going to say this is the end of the Death Riders, then surely Bryan Danielson's turning up to do something to get back at them. And lo and behold, after Darby Allin went, hey, I'm at Everest, but I'm going to kind of drop down from the scene at some point. Because I thought originally that was Darby.
Yeah.
And then Danielson turned up, and I went, oh, maybe it was just Danielson just out on a nature walk, something like that. And then came down Darby from the ceiling. Because obviously for a while, I mean, for a while, a lot of people were kind of under the assumption, oh, yeah, it's going to be Darby that's going to end this reign. But I think because of all his injuries and obviously going off to conquer Mount Everest and stuff like that, it didn't seem natural from a storyline side for it to happen. Even though the whole thing of him getting the belt off Danielson to begin with is, oh, can you put your championship shot up on the line against me, please? Darby Allin, because John Moxley would like a belt again, that sort of stuff. Because it started off with Darby, you kind of think, oh, maybe it finishes with Darby. But no, I think over the past year and a bit with Hangman and Swerve, it has felt so natural for Hangman to be the one to do it. Because, he's, as a sign said in the audience, he's the heart and soul of AEW at times. And at times, you can't argue with that, especially when he's doing full promos in Spanish in Mexico and stuff like that, just really resonating and connecting with the crowd. So, so it's like, in terms of layer storytelling for this match in particular, it is very akin to WrestleMania 40 with good guys against bad guys and all the story beats kind of tying up together in one final crescendo, which ends this particular story arc of the Death Riders. I think for that, it's amazing storytelling in the ring, even with brutality.
Even with a nice Blue Panther reference, for no reason, Brian Downsville wearing a Blue Panther mask. There isn't really much all we can say for this. I think this was the perfect end to a pay-per-view. I didn't watch most of it though. But that press conference with with Timeless Tony Storm. Always go watch a media scrum with Timeless Tony Storm. I'm not going to repeat what she said because my God, you talk about age restriction.
You sent me the link this morning, and I saw the title. I was just like, "Yep, that's typical."
You said the C word anyway. But did you see any of the Hangman stuff in the press conference? Because admittedly, I didn't.
I haven't seen any of it.
I saw a little bit of the first question where someone was asking about obviously his journey to get to that point for the match and so forth. And yeah, I think Hangman was still kind of on an emotional high for that one. So yeah, I think it probably would be worth checking out at some point. Because it feels like a very euphoric moment because he kind of chats to Tony and kind of goes, "How long have we been doing this for?" "For nearly 6 years now." It's like 6 years. So it's like it's been a journey for 6 years.
It's been a hell of a journey. This company, guys, this freaking company. You know what? I'm passionate about it, but it's only because I want to see it succeed so much. Because whenever they make a mistake, it's like, please learn, because I just love you that much. I just love this company so goddamn much because I like WWE as well. But we have been so desperately needed something new for so long. We had about nearly 20 years of not much competition in the WWE, and you could tell they were scared. Look how much counter programming we got and are still getting this weekend from WWE. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I just want wrestling to succeed. I just also don't want wrestling to be dicks to one another. You know? It's like, come on, guys.
I think looking at obviously the amount of, I think I've said this before on streams. So I think we're in the perfect era of being a wrestling fan because there are so many different brands. There's so many different promotions. There's so many different styles of wrestling. It is easy to enjoy your favorite wrestling and just enjoy it, not kind of poo-poo on the other. It's kind of like, it's like, yes, at times I do prefer WWE style, but that's because I gel more probably with the presentation aspects. I think I do like a good presentation. I do like a good sort of atmosphere or something like that to it. And that's not shade on AEW because I think AEW have been progressing year after year. And I think after some very turbulent years, obviously in the wake of Punk and all that sort of stuff, it feels coming out of All In. It feels coming out of this year's All In that we have hit that nice. It's like the same with that All Out years ago. We've hit a point now where it's like, right, the pieces are in. We've reset the board a bit, but we've done our season finale. We're ready to move forward with exciting talent that we have on our roster, stories you can get invested in and stuff like that. And that's what you need. And I think sometimes at the moment, especially WWE product, is like the stories have not been as captivating as they used to be during the WrestleMania 40 build. And I am starting to show the strain with it. So enjoying something like AEW this past week has been nice to do. Yeah. It reminds me that AEW is still just as fine as a wrestling company as WWE.
Absolutely. Whenever there's been an AEW show, it's always been good despite like build or lack of build. Always make time for an AEW pay-per-view because it's always been top quality. With that being said, guys, let's do the rating. We're going to stick up our thumbs and we are going to...
I only have 2 thumbs. I only have 2 thumbs. How does this work? I can't give it 2 thumbs out of 2.
We do a thumb, and you go up. Is it up? Is it down? Or is it in the middle? So, here we go. In 3, in 2, in 1. Blammo. There we go. I mean, if I could slightly go like this a bit, it's too freaking long. And that's it. That's my main complaint.
I think if there were 2 matches less on this card, I think I probably would be I'd be very happy. I think that would be like, this has been the best show of the year by far.
On the main card, you could have just taken out. I know, because they're freaking awesome and they're over the crowds. You could have taken out the Hurt Syndicate, put that on a Dynamite, and I think even the Trios Championship as well. I think that could have been put on a Dynamite as well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the matches on 0 Hour are filler anyway. I think out of all of those, the most important one was probably FTR versus the Outrunners.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody said to me, "Oh, it's only 9 matches like this week. You're fine." And I'm like, "Oh, my sweet innocent summer child, it will grow on the day." And I was proven right, because we had 12 matches. With that being said, I think it is now time for us to start wrapping things up. Just so you know, yet again, just as we reiterate, we will be back again. It's sometime in the midweek. It will be Harriett and a special guest who may or may not be in the chat, to be confirmed. But it is going to be WWE Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to watching it. I know most of you guys as well. Please, got to say, do check out Evolution. Please support women's wrestling. And please, when the inevitable review comes along, come along and support the ladies here as well, because Harriett is great and she's going to do great. I sound like Tony Khan. Oh yeah, and he's great. And I was always thinking he's great. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
You have 6 drinks in front of you, though.
Yeah. And probably underneath the table where he's got a whole line of sherbet as well. I put a sherbet reference in. Yes. Always with the sherbet. And Charlie Von Karma said it best. Harry is brill. But also, we do have other things as well. We do have our own individual Twitch streams and other revenues as well that we go down. And we are going to start with Harriett.
Hello. So, so I will be hosting BunkaMania this week, possibly on a Tuesday. We will double check. So if that's the case, I will be streaming on my own channel on Wednesday at 8 p.m. I'm not sure what we're going to stream yet. Might carry on with Date Everything, because that was fun last week. But I usually post my schedule on my Blue Sky anyway, so you can follow when I stream, times and stuff like that. And yeah, you can find me also on YouTube as well. I do random reactions on there. Haven't uploaded in a while, but we'll upload some in the future. But yeah, hopefully you'll see me a couple of times next week on Twitch.
And Ian.
Hey, me. I need to remember, I've got my camera movements changed, because it used to be right here. It's up there now. But let me get me on screen. There we go. Yes, I am, of course, the Dekker Dane. I stream Mondays at 8 o'clock, Wednesdays at 6 o'clock over on Twitch. And yes, I think it's a gameplay stream tomorrow night on the Monday stream. I don't know what we're playing yet, though. So I need to figure something out. I have had a hankering for some cooking simulator, simply to watch everything go wrong. And that's always good fun, that sort of thing. And other than that, it might be something story-driven or something like that. But your best bet to find out what actually happens is by tuning in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock over on the channel. And yes, of course, I think that's me in a nutshell at the moment. I think this week is gaming, and then the following week after that, we get back into a little bit of watch-along as well. But yes, that is me. And I'm going to pass it over to Matty.
And of course, I am, the internet's own MattyBoo. Check me out on Twitch under MattyBoo Twitches. Next weekend, I will probably be streaming A Little to the Left, a nice chill sorting and tidying puzzle game. I played a good deal of it a couple of years ago. I really enjoyed it. It's recently had its last final update done to it, so I'm going to play it again. Mostly because I just want a nice chill stream next weekend. But you can also find me on Instagram under MattyBoo Super, and you can find me on Blue Sky under MattyBoo at b.social. I cannot do Blue Sky. Find me under MattyBoo. That's a good place to find me. And that is pretty much me. And with that being said, one and all, that was our review of AEW All In 2025. he has his finger up. What else are we doing?
I think what we're going to be doing, because we are currently live on Twitch as well, we do believe the N64 Live podcast has started streaming. So what I suggest we do is we go over and raid that channel. So we will say our goodbyes. And once I hit the end stream button, I'll start prepping us up now for N64 Live podcast. So give me a few ticks.
Because I'm a professional, I was going to segue into that, Dane.
Oh, I'm sorry. It sounded like you were about to finish.
Yes. But yes, I will say that again. So that was us. That was our review on AEW. All In. If this is your first time with one of our AEW reviews, why not check out all of our other reviews out there? I've done a few with Jeremy. We have good banter. I miss that big Walls of Love. I really, really do. Hopefully we'll see him in the next one down the road. With that being said, this is going to be new for us. We don't really do this often, but we are going to raid N64 Live Podcast. If you haven't checked him out before, he is a very cool streamer over on Twitch. He has a thing, and his thing is N64 games. I don't think it's an N64 game he's playing tonight, though. I believe he's playing Wallace and Gromit on the GameCube.
I believe so. I'm seeing him now.
And with that being said, that was Ian. That was Harriett, and this was me saying, one and all, go check out All In. It's great. Let wrestling flourish and grow. And like Toni Storm said when she met Mercedes Moné, my God, that's a fantastic snatch you got there. Bye, everybody.
Right. Brace yourselves. Raid is starting in about 2 seconds. I will hit the button. But everyone keep waving. Keep waving. Keep waving, keep waving, keep waving, keep raving, keep waving.
We're live, pal.
We are live, and we're going to raid. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
I said snatch.
Great.